with a contract status update and more. This is Wrestling Rambles. My name is John, and you're watching the Wrestling Report. Talking about the WWE stars that were recently released, JBL noted on Something to Wrestle, "I texted with the Good Brothers last night," according to when this show's being taped. "I text those guys all the time. Love those boys, man. Two good dudes and two good workers. They're going to be fine. I know they know they're going to be fine. There's no sense in saying, hey, you guys are going to be fine. They know that. I just texted them, telling them I love them, and can't wait to see what they're doing next. And that, to me, is the key. You can do one of two things when you get released. I feel sorry for anybody, by the way, who's lost a job. I've done it. I've had it happen to me many times for 30 or 40 plus years, from football and wrestling to everything else. But believe me, I've been fired, released. I would never dream of making light of it or do anything except my sympathies. And I'm sorry that it happened to you, but this is an opportunity and you have two choices here. You can sit around and hope that Tony Khan picks you up, or that you get picked up by a different group, or you can go out there and make a name for yourself. I've never seen an opportunity better in wrestling since I've been in it for 30 plus years. I've been a fan my entire life, 58 years, and I've never seen an opportunity better for guys going out and making a name for themselves. That's what I feel like the Good Brothers are going to do. That's what I hope all these guys do. There's two different mindsets. I hope these guys go out there and make a hell of a name for themselves, because I believe there's no time in wrestling history where it's easier to go out there and do something big outside of the big one, which is WWE. Mentioning the possibility of re-signing with TNA Wrestling, Josh Alexander told Pro Wrestling Wire, "It'd be the same thing that it was when I came back from my tricep tear, just to regain the TNA World Championship and finish that historic reign I was on, because it didn't end the way I wanted it to. I had to give it up. I had to relinquish the title because I tore my tricep. And that was not the way I wanted that reign to end. I don't think it's the way anybody wanted it to end. I just never got it back in that year and a half after coming back from injury, and it's something that is certainly disappointing, but the wrestling business is the wrestling business. It ain't just about me. There's a ton of moving parts, and there's a ton of people in that company that are so over and so talented and deserve that championship along the way. It didn't end the way I wanted it to, so that's something that will eat away at me." Staying on the topic of Josh Alexander and his TNA contract, Ringside News wrote that Josh Alexander's time in TNA Wrestling is coming to an end. And as free agency looms, the big question remains, where will he go next? Alexander, a former TNA World Champion, will officially hit the market this week when his contract expires on February 14th. His potential departure has been on TNA's radar for over a year. Back in 2023, Alexander requested that the company not pick up his 2024 option, but TNA ultimately decided to do so. True to his word, Alexander fulfilled the contract, but now he's at a crossroads. While TNA officials have consistently spoken highly of him, there's no clear indication of where he'll end up. WWE, AEW, and even a return to TNA remain possibilities. But Alexander has kept quiet about his next move. Speaking on Straight Talk Wrestling, he admitted that free agency is a whole new world for him, which is why he's letting his agent handle the negotiations. "I have secured agents to handle all of this for me. I am very privileged to have some of the best agents in pro wrestling representing me through these conversations, because it's something that is completely foreign to me," he explained. Alexander revealed that even he doesn't know all the details of what's being discussed behind the scenes. "They don't tell me much. They treat this very much like professional sports. There is no tampering. There is none of this stuff going on. They don't want to tell me figures and numbers. It has been driving me crazy crazy, he admitted. Despite the uncertainty, he's confident he'll land in a good spot. I've had friends and family asking me all these questions. All I can tell you is I'm going to be okay. That's what I've been told. Alexander's resume speaks for itself. Since joining TNA in 2019, he's won the World Championship twice, held the tag team titles twice, and even had a reign as X Division champion. But for him, it's about more than just championships. He's looking for the right story. It's not just dream matches and working with certain people. I've really gotten into telling stories. Television wrestling is completely different from the independents, and I've been very privileged in TNA to tell amazing stories. I want to tell more stories. Before officially stepping away, Alexander has one last match in TNA. He'll take on Eric Young on the February 13th episode of TNA Impact in what's being billed as his farewell bout. Talking about the upcoming match between Mercedes Moné and Harley Cameron, Dave Meltzer noted on Wrestling Observer Radio, Mercedes is really good, and I think this is the biggest test for Mercedes because they're going to Australia and Harley's from Australia, and she's getting a championship match and she's really over. And if Mercedes is the great worker that she often shows herself to be, she should take this as a challenge to go, you know what, I'm gonna make this woman, I'm gonna be Ric Flair. You want to be Ric Flair? This is Ric Flair and Sting. That's what it is. So go and make Sting. And I'm not saying Harley Cameron's as good as Sting, but Harley Cameron, as far as charisma and everything like that, she's showing as much as Sting did before the Ric Flair match. I'm not saying it's going to last for 40 years like Sting, but that's my analogy. Are you the Ric Flair of women? Go make her. Mercedes replied, writing STFU. Going over a legend that will be making appearances for WWE, Ringside News wrote that Trish Stratus made her in-ring return at the 2025 Royal Rumble, and now it looks like WWE isn't done with the Hall of Famer just yet. According to sources within WWE via Fightful Select, Stratus has been discussed for upcoming appearances, especially with Elimination Chamber set to take place in her hometown of Toronto on March 1st. WWE sources revealed that Trish frequently pitches ideas for potential storylines, and she remains a constant topic of discussion behind the scenes. WWE recently rolled out 25-year anniversary merchandise celebrating Stratus's legendary career, which has only added fuel to speculation about her next move. Trish has the 25-year merch and has a Toronto show coming up at the end of the month, so it would be shocking if she wasn't involved. Stratus made a statement in the Women's Royal Rumble match, entering at number 25 and mixing it up with Jordynne Grace, Candice LeRae, and others before being eliminated. Despite the short-lived return, the moment left fans wondering if this was just the beginning. And this was your pro wrestling news update. I hope you're all having a great day. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see y'all later.